What's up, guys? Today we're going to be continuing our quest with comics, and we're picking up with Excalibur, issue 23. So Excalibur is by Teeny Howard, Marcus Toe, and Eric Arcianega. And guys, I think if you got eyes in your head, you can see who is going to grace us in this issue. No other than Dr. Doom, baby. And I don't know if you guys are like me, but I've been a fan of Dr. Doom since I was a little kid. The Fantastic Four really grabbed my interest when I was 8 or 9, and Dr. Doom was a really big part of that, so I was really stoked to see him make an appearance here with the cast and crew of Excalibur. So for you guys out there that are watching this and don't know, I am about to spoil the shit out of this comic. I'm going to be touching on things from beginning to end, showing plenty of panels. Yeah, buckle up. So when the issue starts out, we see Betsy Braddock is asleep on Braddock Isle, and she's experiencing some bad dreams. And this shows us that even though Betsy Braddock recently has been through a whole lot, and she's had to, face fears herself, all kinds of situations, and try to come out on top of all that, but she is still very much, kind of haunted by all this stuff that's happening in her life. She has the Coven of Kaba. She's got the, being torn between being Captain Britain, being, a mutant, Otherworld, Krakoa, her family. All this stuff is just really kicked up, and obviously she's, losing sleep over it. Now when she wakes up, we see that we have a guest arriving at our doorstep. None other than Victor Von Doom. And this is great, and I do think the handling of Doom is done really well because Victor Von Doom is an asshole. He really does think very highly of himself, and essentially anytime he shows up, it's just always going to be this fucking dick measuring contest where he always tries to make himself look bigger, okay? And he's doing that right out the gate here. We see he shows up. Somehow, Dr. Doom has heard that Morgan Le Fay has left Otherworld, and this concerns him. Now, for those that don't know, at one point in time, Morgan Le Fay and Dr. Doom were a couple. So it's not too crazy to think that he would have some kind of information on the dealings and the ins and outs of Otherworld. Now, Dr. Doom explains that because Morgan Le Fay has left Otherworld, she has left something behind, and he wants to go in there and get it. Now, obviously, the mutants don't want to just let Dr. Doom into Otherworld. That's just screams bad idea. But Dr. Doom has an ace up his sleeve, or should I say, a mutant child up his sleeve, and this is so perfectly Dr. Doom. Basically, what's going on is the mutants are giving Doom pushback and kind of like, oh yeah, well, you don't need to go into Otherworld. You would need a mutant anyway to bring you in there. Doom, pulls out this little baby mutant. He's like, yeah, it's okay. I got a key to the door, And everyone's freaking out. They're like, what the fuck? Where'd you get a baby? And you're just going to use this mutant child as a key to the door? No fucking way. And Doom is even playing this. He's playing Doom. He's like, well, how do you know it's not my kid? Huh? Either way, this is great because we're seeing static beginning to happen between the groups, and Dr. Doom's Doombots are in the background, flipping up their fist blades, and it's just ooh, shit, things are getting dicey real quick. Eventually, cooler heads prevail, and the team decides to take Doom into Otherworld. Now, Doom will find out that Otherworld is a little bit different than the last time he was there. Now, as Excalibur and Doom make their trek across Otherworld, they are greeted by Megan. And then soon after that, they are attacked by an assassin. And this is really awesome because Doom's just yeah, handle this shit, and he zips off, just leaving them under attack. But the team handles their own, then the assassin disappears into the mist, and the team is kind of left trying to put the clues together, and what they've come up with is that the assassin must have come from Sevalith, which is the vampire kingdom here in Otherworld. But the team doesn't actually really understand why this assassination attempt is really even taking place. So they're also trying to figure that out as well, and what they come up with is maybe, possibly, they were trying to attack Megan because her being from Avalon and Sevalith and Avalon are kind of at war. Maybe that's why there's this attack on them out of nowhere. And Megan decides to change her hair color, try to kind of go incognito. Then Excalibur meets back up with Dr. Doom, who is at the site where Morgan Le Fay's castle should be, but it's not there. and he starts questioning, like, where the fuck is this castle? And they're like, well, if you don't know, I don't know. And they go right back into bitching and moaning and fighting again. Then Jubilee uses her power. She contacts like these fairies, and they kind of give her the ins and outs of what's going down. And so she lets Dr. Doom know that the castle has been taken away magically. And if it has been taken away, there's probably only one place that it would be: the Crooked Market. So now we follow the team into the Crooked Market. And for those that don't know, the Crooked Market is ran by Jim Jaspers, who is a reality-bending mutant. And he's, basically terrifying as all fuck. But it's perfect that he's the one running the show in the Crooked Market, because it just really fits Jim Jaspers really well. We see that Betsy Braddock takes Dr. Doom to go see Jim Jaspers. Now, this leaves the rest of the team kind of like with nothing left to do, so they're just kind of going to go do whatever they want. And Gambit wants to go steal and gamble. And I guess the rest are just like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Now, when we get to Jim Jasper's place, this is a great back and forth, because you have Jim Jaspers, who really likes to tiptoe around the tulips. He likes to play grab ass. He's gonna like kind of jerk you around in the conversation. And Dr. Doom is a very straightforward, like no nonsense, no bullshit guy. So you couldn't get two people further from each other. And it's just fucking great. Doom is just hitting him with like, hey, where is this stuff? I want it. And Jim Jaspers is letting him know like, hey, I kind of know a little something about you. I've actually paid a whole lot of goddamn money just so I could find these little juicy tidbits about you, Victor. And so he, kind of lets him know he knows all about him and Morgan Le Fay and yada, yada, yada. Eventually, we see Jim Jaspers produce a box. And it's kind of funny in this moment because Doom is looking for a castle, right? So it's like, there's no fucking that's a box. I'm looking for a castle. It can't be in the goddamn box, could it? And then you also have Betsy Braddock, who is starting to freak out because now she's watching Jim Jaspers hand a mystery box over to Doom, and the contents are somehow involved with Morgan Le Fay, and that's gotta be bad, and she's a protector of Otherworld. So she's like, I can't let this fucking transaction happen, and she starts to kind of insert herself. So you got like just this mess of fucking arguments, and Doom starts kind of flexing on Betsy Braddock. Then we cut back to the team, and they're in this tavern, and of course Gambit is doing what Gambit does best: cheating. Yes, I do think that this fits his character well. Gambit, as much as he is a superhero, guys, he is a thief. He will cheat. He will, he'll do a little fuckery. And I do like that that's what he's up to here. I do see that he uses another one of the cards from the deck. It doesn't seem to have any Easter egg kind of stuff attached to it. It's just we're using the card and it's going to have an effect kind of thing. Then we cut back to Jim Jaspers and Dr. Doom, and they're fucking in a heated argument. And I love this because it's just like Doom, like I said, he thinks himself pretty fucking highly. So he's always insulted when people are just not bending to his will. And then you got Jim Jaspers, who is extremely goddamn powerful. So why the fuck would he ever bend to anybody's will? And he's also got, a plan cooking up that we're about to see kind of go into action. When we see Doom just lose his shit and kind of threaten Jim Jaspers by bringing all his Doombots and all of Latveria with him, Jim Jasper says, oh, that's interesting. That's what I want for this box. I want all of Latveria, I want all your force. And Doom's kind of insulted once. Of course he's insulted. He's Doom. But he's just like, I'm no man's to command. And there's a great little part where Doom asks Betsy Braddock, he's like, Captain Britain, can you not just behead this guy? And she's like, well, I'm kind of a peacekeeper now. Now, amidst this argument, Betsy Braddock tries to break it up. And there's this little part that I might be reading too much into, but I do think that it's a possible seed planted. It's this part where Dr. Doom kind of takes Betsy by the chin, and he's like bringing her eyes to meet his. And he's telling her, he's kind of like admiring her, and he's like, Doom needs no bride. But if he ever took one, he might take one in a woman like you. And to me, that was kind of like a little possible seed planted. Like, wouldn't it be fucking awesome if we saw, for whatever, some, crazy reason, a marriage between Betsy Braddock and Victor Von Doom? I think that could play out awesome. But anyway, getting back to the comic, we see that right after this, that they are attacked by a Fury robot. And now, I don't know a whole lot about the Furies, except that they are fucking badass, okay? They're like robots you don't want to fuck with. These are not guys you're just going to walk all over, especially if you're a mutant. Now they show up and they just start wrecking shop and exploding shit, and Jim Jasper's fucking house is a mess. It's all exploded and fucked up, and he just like tosses Doom the box, and he's like, yeah, I accept your offer, Victor. And Doom's like, kind of like, what? Okay. It takes the box. And now once again, I think this is another thing. Boom, seed planted. It's really easy to gloss over this because so much, like, it's an action moment. But realistically, Victor Von Doom just basically signed his forces, his power away to Jim Jaspers. That's gonna happen at some point. Then we see Betsy Braddock and Victor Von Doom kind of escape, and they're dealing with the Furies, and then the rest of the team, Excalibur, kind of, you know, they're in it as well. They're all being attacked by these Furies, and we find out real quickly that these guys are nobody to fuck with, because Jubilee tries to attack one, and she sends her power after it, and all that the Fury does is he just absorbs it, basically, takes it in, and then delivers it back in just a more furious form. Now, Excalibur is essentially outmatched here against the Furies, but Betsy Braddock goes for it. Being Captain Britain, she starts fighting one of these things, but she's also kind of got like a side plan going as well. She's trying to communicate it with it at the same time she's fighting it, and she's trying to understand its motivation, and it's telling her like, oh, the Forge Master has sent us after you. You are friends of Mordred, and we need to destroy you. And Betsy kind of comes up with this little deal, and she's telling the Fury, like, hey, look, you are a Fury. You have earned your citizenship here in Otherworld. Like, you are a part of Otherworld. I am Captain Britain. You know, I am a protector of Otherworld. By you attacking me, you are now breaking the law as a civilian of Otherworld. And the Fury, like, is trying to compute this, because they're like, wait a minute, my master said to do this, but now you're saying this, and we can't break the law because, yes, we are civilians. Ah, shit. I guess we got to go back to the boss and talk to him about this. So they just pack shit up and take off. And then we see Dr. Doom leaving the scene, and he's clutching the box, and he's talking his shit, as he should. But then we cut to this page, and what is going on, it seems, is Dr. Doom has, you know, gotten home, and he's opened up the box, and what he's discovered, he's written a letter back to Betsy Braddock saying, hey, you know, I actually discovered the castle inside this box, and funny thing, something I found inside this castle might be of interest of you. It's like this scrying pool, and we see Megan and Betsy using this little pool that Doom has sent back, and we're beginning to understand some stuff, because they have been trying to crunch on this whole deal, this Friends of Mordred. Like, what the fuck does that mean? We've heard of other words for mutant. Usually there used to be called mutant or witch breed. So this Friends of Mordred thing is kind of a new way of saying a mutant. And that's kind of what they're finding out here in this scrying pool. Now, I should add, if you do not know who Mordred is the son of Arthur. So Arthur is a human, and Mordred is Arthur's mutant son. Well, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. As always, I'm just trying to put my heart and soul into these things. I really am digging this comic. And, you know, even if you guys don't want to read it, I really just hope that I am giving you something that's entertaining enough to watch and just keeps your interest, you know, until the next fucking video drops, I guess. You know, if I'm doing it, cool. If I'm not, I could see that not many people are watching these videos, so that for those that are, fuck yeah, you're awesome. That's all I gotta say is you're fucking awesome, all right?